I really like this picture because it embodies the journey that we are all currently on. There is a new version of yourself that you are trying to embody, and there is the old version of yourself who you are trying to let go and shed. A lot of people like to overcomplicate this evolutionary process, but it's a very simple one. You understand from a masculine perspective that you cannot have both at the same time. It's either one or the other. And that is what the eyes represent on the picture. The eyes represent the masculine because the masculine is always watching you, it's always watching to see what actions you are going to take because it is through the actions that you vote for who it is that you want to be and the future that you are aiming to have. Masculinity does not care about your excuses. It does not care about how you feel. It does not care about your circumstance or situation, your trial or tribulation. The only thing that truly matters to the masculine is whether you took the action or you did not take the action because it is through that very binary process of which you will be rewarded or you will be penalized. When you are on your semen retention journey, there are a lot of changes that can happen to you, positive or negative. But the thing that I would say gives me the most power that I can feel would be when I decide to hone in on the things that I have been struggling with. Now, in the past, I used to quote unquote power up when I was simply just being on the right path, eating healthy, getting sunlight, doing my cardio, lifting heavy weights, and I would be rewarded with that for a long time. And it was really great until one day I realized that whenever I thought I had it in the bag, I would say, like, okay, I'm just going to hop on this streak, power up, get the thing that I'm looking for, and I'm good. But what ended up happening, and it took me a while to really figure it out, was I was doing all of the things, quote unquote, right. However, the power that came with it usually was not the same. In fact, it almost felt non existent. And I it confused me because I thought that wait a minute, as long as I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing as far as taking care of myself, then I should be able to benefit from the retention. And while that may be true for some of you, there are others of you who that is not true. And I've come to the realization of why that is. Semen retention, at least the power, and again, this is all anecdotal. I suggest you try it in your life to see if it works for you. If it doesn't, well, you have to go back to the drawing board and figure that out for yourself. But I know this works for me because on top of being a teacher of this, I'm also a student and a practitioner. And the thing that I've realized is that it's not about doing all of the right things, quote unquote, whatever that means to you, but it's more about doing the things that you have been putting off. It's not about going on a streak and getting exercise. You should be doing that anyway. It's about attacking the things that you told yourself that you were going to do. It's about attacking the actions that are leading you to the result that you've wanted for yourself. To put this simply, if a lot of guys have problems with women, they'll pretend like women don't matter and that they just want to focus on themselves. But if we were being truthful, if we looked each other in the eyes as men, and I really, from a non judgmental point of view, genuinely wanted to know if you wanted some type of relationship with a woman, the average man would say yes. To which then I would ask, okay, well, what are the actions that we're doing on a daily or weekly basis that helps us obtain that? And from the men that I've spoken to, 9 times out of 10, there is no action being taken. And of course, a lot of men will start to use the excuses. of, oh, I'm just working on myself, or, I'm just blah, 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 blah. This is not a place where we come to make excuses. This is a place to where we show up as our authentic self, and we take a hard look and ask, is this true about me? Because that is where the real power lies. The real power is understanding that you're afraid of being social. You're afraid of trying something new. You're afraid of putting yourself out there. And while being on a streak is amazing, you will only really get the power up if you are truly putting yourself in that position to receive that power. Power can come from many different things. There are guys who are people pleasers, and the way that you would gain power on semen retention is by simply being more courageous, meaning you say the thing that you meant in the moment instead of coddling somebody else's feelings or being afraid of consequences. There are others of you out there that will receive power when you decide to manage your money instead of spending it on frivolous things. There are some of you out there that you'll get that power up when you decide to work out consistently over a period of time instead of claiming you'll do it tomorrow and never doing it. Whatever that thing may be for you, the brain has a very funny way of giving you the message while you're receiving the message. What do you mean by that, MD? I simply mean that whenever I talk about your weaknesses and I ask you, I'm like, what are the things that you need to be working on? Your brain is very funny in a way that it will point it out to you immediately, almost as if it led you to this very moment just for it to tell you that, hey, you need to work on that. That's a little meta, a little spiritual, serendipity, the whole nine. And so I really want you to really ask yourself this question, because I want you to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, then who can you be honest with? And that question is, are you doing everything in your power to obtain the goals that you have set for yourself? Are you putting yourself in position, or are you BSing? And what I've come to realize is that whenever you ask the average man this question, even the above average man this question, most of us are bullshitting. We're BSing, because you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm giving 110% every single day. I've yet to find a man who does that, because one of the things that I love about studying personal development, self improvement, goal setting, time management, you name it, I've been studying it past 11, 12 years now, is everybody's missing one, sometimes more than one, but everybody has something. Most guys, it's the relationship aspect. Others, it's purpose. Sometimes, I meet some guys, they struggle with the body, but I believe that, as men, the body's the easiest one. We have that random energy at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., start doing some push ups. Maybe you go for a random run. That's very easy to conquer. But when it comes to, like I said earlier, maybe putting yourself out there and approaching somebody terrifies you. And just really think about it, man. As a man, the thing that breaks you down is talking to another human being. And I really want, because what happens is, not only, again, there's two hemispheres of the brain, which tells me they're in charge of many different things. And while on one hand, your brain wants you to do better, on the other hand, your brain also wants to protect you. And so usually when I talk like this and I try to get men at the core, at the raw core, they have what I call the mental defenses that will spring up and feed you some nonsense to make you believe that everything's okay. And this is worse if you would consider yourself an intellectual, if you were to consider yourself smarter than the average person, because that means your mental gymnastics, your mental defense is a lot more complex than a simple, oh, I'm just not doing it. And so don't be fooled by yourself, because understand that the reason why you're able to fool yourself is because you know yourself. Most guys, when they come to me for coaching, it's very easy to see through their bullshit because I've fed myself that same bullshit. And I also know at my masculine core that none of that shit you just said even mattered at all. The only question I'm going to ask you once you're done crying, and again, I don't want to say this as I'm judging because sometimes getting it all out is necessary. But once you're done with all of that and you've returned to normal or baseline or whatever, I'm simply going to ask you, did you get it done or not? And it doesn't matter what you've said the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45, an hour. I had guys talk to me more than an hour, more than 2 hours before. And I'll sit and I'll listen. Get it out, brother. I'll ask you, did you do it? But I already know the answer. The answer is no. And so then, before I judge you on the action, I ask you, is it something that you want? And if you're being completely honest with yourself, you'll say something like, yes, it is something that I want. To which we would then move on to say, okay, let's figure out an action plan to get it. Because we're men. We are very simple people. We want, we wake up every day to take the action to get, and over time, we will get. And it's really that simple. And it's only when we start to overcomplicate it do we start to run into all of this BS. We start slapping labels on goofy shit when the only